for all your real estate need. And on Real Estate Talk, we continue to talk all things real estate, commercial and residential. And in order to do that, we have to engage the experts in the specific role they play in the process of buying and selling real estate. And today we are talking real estate and quantity surveying. What is quantity surveying and how does it relate to real estate? Why engage a quantity surveyor when you are planning to build? We have all these questions to answer when we come back. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. You are listening to Real Estate Talk.
Castaways Development Limited residential lots for sale at only $10 per square feet. Average size 8,000 square feet. All infrastructures available. Most lots with awesome ocean view. Just a minute walk away from the black silky sandy beach of Miro, one of Dominica's most beautiful and popular beaches. Castaways Development Limited residential lots available. Contact Marianne Johnfin at 225-2121. Email mjohnfin@gmail.com. Website diamondrealtyde.com.
We all need to feel safe, no matter what life brings our way. With United Insurance, you can be sure your vehicle, home, business, and other prized possessions are well protected. United offers a comprehensive range of general insurance solutions to suit your needs. And our excellent AM Best ratings says we have the financial strength to protect your assets. Across the Caribbean, we have a track record of helping clients get back on their feet quickly after disaster strikes, providing prompt, professional, exceptional service. So whatever life brings your way, trust United to protect the things you value most. You're in safe hands with United. For more information, contact your nearest United agent today. Call JB Charles & Company Limited at 448-2876, CAM Dupini at 448-3012, or LA Dupini & Company Limited at 448-2310.
You're in safe hands with United.
For the next birthday or anniversary celebration, escape to Sunrise Farm Cottages in Richmond, Castlebrooks. Birthdays and anniversaries are welcome celebrations. Wondering about a unique gift for yourself or that special someone? Think Sunrise Farm Cottages Sunny Sunrise Special as your thoughtful surprise and gift offer. Sunrise Farm Cottages is making it all possible by offering huge reductions on cottage rates for birthday and anniversary celebrations. Anytime, all the time. Our gift to you is the laureate of US $80 per night per cottage with a delicious complimentary breakfast. Come experience our signature Sabuka restaurant on bar with daily happy hour and dine on sumptuous meals which will excite your palate. Sunrise Farm Cottages. Come and experience something truly rejuvenating. For more information, call 446-0000 or 275-5600. Log on to sunrisefarmcottages.com. Terms and conditions apply.
And we are back. Welcome back to Real Estate Talk. And we are engaging this morning a quantity surveyor to discuss with us what is quantity surveying. And with me in studio is Mr. Eric James. Mr. James, welcome to Real Estate Talk.
Thank you, and good morning to your listeners.
Okay, sir. Can you tell us what is quantity surveying, sir?
Quantity surveying is basically a service in part of the construction industry, and the primary aspect is the preparation and administration of contracts. So it involves pre-contract and post-contract work. By pre-contract would involve the preparation of tender documents or working along with the other consultants in the field in preparation in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Post-contract would involve everything following the selection of a contractor.
Okay. Okay. So in other words, when you are engage you do work in preparing for the work that the contractor is going to do, and even after when he's complete or when he has engaged.
Ideally, in the practice, you would engage a team to carry out your project. Team is constituted of an architect, an engineer, quantity surveyor, and other parties will include, of course, the project owner and eventually the contractor. Some of the services required in the case of even small projects, you might have combined in one individual. In our case, most small residential buildings, you have somebody prepare a plan. Sometimes that same person will prepare part of the work that the quantity surveyor would normally do. In larger projects, it would be best to have a full team so that all the expertise would come into play.
Somebody who's like a regular Dominican who's building, say, I don't have the money, I don't see the need for all of that team, an architect and a quantity surveyor, a designer. I can just do my thing myself. What would you say to them?
I have said on occasion that if you're going to go into the business of opening a little shop, you would engage an accountant to do some work for you and advise you. If you're going to buy a vehicle, you would engage a mechanic to have a look at it, especially if it's a used vehicle. Now, in both instances, you're spending much less than you would spend in building a home. I would think, therefore, that it would be wise to get persons who know what it is that they're doing to assist you. It is not always that a penny not spent is a penny saved. You may, because you have not spent the penny wisely, end up paying pounds for that mistake.
So it's always wise to take precautionary measures when you're building, because doing a building, it could be, most times, it's a huge investment that you're making, so do it well.
I would say it's more than precautionary measures, it's actually necessary measures.
Okay. A contractor bids on a you are a quantity surveyor and someone bids on a project, and he bids lower than the others. Is he guaranteed to get that job?
Well, ideally, if you're the quantity surveyor on a job, you would have prepared an estimate of that job, so you have an idea in your own mind about what it will cost. So, for example, if a project should cost, by the quantity surveyor's estimate, $500,000, you put it out to tender and you have prices ranging from $300,000 to $650,000. You ought to have serious questions about that estimate, which says $300,000.
Yes.
Now, it may be that somebody was prepared to forego some profit on some aspect of the work. It may be there's new technology that allows him to be much more efficient. So you would call him in and ask him questions to that effect. So before just rejecting him because you think he's too low, you probably examine it. Now, when you call him in, you're asking him to change his figures.
Right.
Because he would already have known that he was the lowest and that others are much higher. So he could probably say, okay, rather than 300, I'll make it 350 because the next guy is 400. So that's not what you're doing. You're not calling him to change his figures.
Right.
But you're calling him to explain how is he able to do that project for that price. Because at the end of the day, the client wants the job. Doesn't want to be involved in litigation.
Oh, okay.
And you may well find yourself there if you go ahead and recommend someone who is probably unable to do the job for the figure that he has quoted. Mind you, he is obligated to do it once he signs his contract, but that would, of course, very likely take you into court.
Oh, okay. Can you go back a little into just give me a little bit detail as to some of the services that a quantity surveyor gives to his client, instead of just to tell me how much, give me figures. What other?
Okay, other than the primary functions that I mentioned, that would be his involvement in the pre-contract work and the post-contract work. And I will give you a little detail of what pre-contract and post-contract necessitates in a while. But the other services that he would provide, he would do valuations of property as well. He would do reports to insurance companies after disasters, natural or man-made. And he would be involved also in advising financial institutions on the adequacy or otherwise of proposals.
Okay.
One of the functions of a quantity surveyor that hardly comes into play is the capacity to advise persons on investments.
Okay.
whether it is wise to go a particular route, considering what is involved as far as the building aspect in particular is concerned.
Can you go into that a little bit?
We would look at what it is that you want to invest in. Now, you may very likely require land and you will require a building. Now, if you're going to spend 1.5 million on land and building, for instance,
Right.
and at the end of the day, your project is going to yield something like $500,000 net profit over 10 years. Probably better off just putting that 1.5 million in the bank, even at 2%.
At 2%, it's better.
Okay, so he would look at the project and see what is involved and advise you in that aspect, especially where the expense on land and properties, land and building is concerned.
Okay.
The other thing I said I would do is expand on pre-contract and post-contract.
Pre-contract, yes.
Pre-contract work, and it involves everything that goes into the project up to tender documents. So you'll be working with the architect. You would advise on the adequacy of the type of material selected. You would give him preliminary estimates as he goes along, so that you work within the client's budget. Because at the end of the day, it's all well and good to have a pretty plan,
Right.
but you want to have it implemented. And the budget is the guiding factor.
Okay, Mr. James, I think it's time we should take a break, and we'll be right back to continue our discussion on the quantity surveying.
General Insurance.
Castaways Development Limited residential lots for sale at only $10 per square feet. Average size 8,000 square feet. All infrastructures available. Most lots with awesome ocean view. Just a minute walk away from the black, silky, sandy beach of Miro, one of Dominica's most beautiful and popular beaches. Castaways Development Limited residential lots available. Contact Marianne Johnfin at 225-2121. Email mjohnfin@gmail.com. Website diamondrealtyde.com.
We all need to feel safe no matter what life brings our way. With United Insurance, you can be sure your vehicle, home, business, and other prized possessions are well protected. United offers a comprehensive range of general insurance solutions to suit your needs. And our excellent AM Best ratings says we have the financial strength to protect your assets. Across the Caribbean, we have a track record of helping clients get back on their feet quickly after disaster strikes, providing prompt, professional, exceptional service. So whatever life brings your way, trust United to protect the things you value most. You're in safe hands with United. For more information, contact your nearest United agent today. Call JB Charles & Company Limited at 448-2876, CAM Dupini at 448-3012, or LA Dupini & Company Limited at 448-2310.
You're in safe hands with United.
For the next birthday or anniversary celebration, escape to Sunrise Farm Cottages in Richmond, Casabros. Birthdays and anniversaries are welcome celebrations. Wondering about a unique gift for yourself or that special someone? Think Sunrise Farm Cottages Sunny Sunrise Special as your thoughtful surprise and gift offer. Sunrise Farm Cottages is making it all possible by offering huge reductions on cottage rates for birthday and anniversary celebrations. Anytime, all the time. Our gift to you is the low rate of US $80 per night per cottage with a delicious complimentary breakfast. Come experience our signature Sabuka restaurant and bar with daily happy hour and dine on sumptuous meals which will excite your palate. Sunrise Farm Cottages. Come and experience something truly rejuvenating. For more information, call 446-0000 or 275-5600. Log on to sunrisefarmcottages.com. Terms and conditions apply.
So, welcome back, Real Estate Talk. Before the break, we were discussing the contract, pre-contract and post-contract, with the understanding that pre-contract, you give advice on the cost, on the material, even what's the word I'm looking for?
Conditions.
Engaging the contractors.
Yeah, it takes us all the way up to the engagement of the contractor.
Right.
But before we get there, we have to also prepare the tender documents, which will go out to the contractor. Once you have had your contractors, they have tendered, the tenders come in, you would analyze the tenders and make a recommendation to the client.
Right.
That when the client then decides on the contractor. Now you move to getting contract signed and getting into post-contract work.
Tell us about
post-contract work would include the preparation of interim valuations as the contractor proceeds, because he's not paid all the money at once upon completion, nor is he paid all of it in advance.
So you visit the project as it is going along?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, if you have a team on the project, you would have site meetings, and the quantity surveyor would be involved as well, because you could have situations where you require variations. Again, he would have to advise on cost. He would have to price the variation work. And so he's in charge of the accounts of the project, and any legal matters that come up, he would be on the first instance responsible for interpreting and advising on that.
In the engaging of the contractor, what kind of and the owner, what kind of contract do you advise both parties to engage in order to protect each other?
Well, there are several variations, but to keep it simple, especially bearing on what happens in the marketplace here, a number of persons, usually prospective owners, think that one of the ways to go is to utilize a labor contract. That is where the contractor would provide the labor and the client or the prospective building owner provide the material. Right there and then, there is something that is missing.
What is missing?
Because there's another element involved. We normally refer to it as plant. That involves all machinery and small tools to get the building going. I very seldom, if at all, recommend a labor contract, either for contractors or employers.
Why would you not advise just a labor contract? What kind of contract would you advise?
I would advise a full contract.
And why not?
That is why the contractor is in business. Let him do his work. And you as an owner, you get somebody to represent you on the project, so he or she would be the intermediary.
Can you explain that a little bit more for those our listeners who wants to understand this a little bit more? Well,
most homeowners are not necessarily persons trained in any aspect of the construction industry.
Right.
You have persons who would work as supervisors. If you're not employing an entire team, you have persons who could work as project managers. And all of these persons are able to work, and they could come from any discipline. They could be engineers, quantity surveyors, architects, but they would work between the owner and the contractor because they understand both languages.
Right.
Okay. The pitfalls, some of them I don't think I can list all of them here now, but the pitfalls with labor contracts from the owner's side, if you employ someone to do a building for you on a labor contract,
right,
in your mind you're thinking he has to do everything. All you have to do is buy the material.
Right.
But some of the material has to get to site.
So transportation.
Right.
Has to.
If you're going to use concrete, the concrete has to be mixed or it has to be delivered mixed. Who is responsible for that?
Right. The material and the quality of the material.
All of that as well, and that if the quality is in a different aspect, that is where your supervisor would come in, who would ensure that the material used is in accordance with what is specified in your contract documents. Okay. The quantum of material as well. That is another area where the owner could be in trouble.
Right.
Because you have to determine. It's easy to say, okay, the contractor says you need 4 doors. You can say, well, but I only have 3 doors on my house. You can probably tell that.
Right.
I don't know if you tell whether you need 10 or 11 cubic yards of sand. Do you need 50 or 55 bags of cement? Okay. The other thing is you may buy 50 bags of cement. That may be what you require.
Right.
But how do you ensure that 10 of it doesn't get spoiled along the way? Because it's not properly stored.
Right.
Yeah. So there are a number of pitfalls with that. If you have a full contract, all of that is the contractor's responsibility, and he has to deliver you your project finished in accordance with the contract documents within the contract price.
I've heard some horror stories, of contractors not delivering. People, is it as a result of not engaging a quantity surveyor and in someone like you to be part of the project? Why we have all of this going on?
We're a little bit limited, we're not Jesus Christ. But it goes right back to what I said at the beginning, that money not spent is not money saved. Mm-hmm. If you go about your project the right way and you engage the right persons to practice their disciplines as far as your project is concerned, you're hardly likely to get into any major difficulties. If a contractor gives you a price which is probably not adequate, but he's probably not even aware of it, right? But as the work goes along, he's realizing, well, the money is running out and and the work is not quite complete. It's possibly he may try looking for shortcuts.
Ooh.
There also may be possibilities that your price may be okay, but because you're not working efficiently,
right,
then you find that you're not able to complete the project, which takes us to another aspect, and that's the availability of skilled
labor
personnel.
But before we go into that, the full contract, if you can go back a little bit, instead of engaging a labor contract, tell me a little bit about why is it wise to have a full contract?
Okay, with a full contract, as I said, the contractor is responsible you give him the site, you give him your documents, he delivers your building. But in the interim and throughout the process, you have persons representing you to make sure that he's doing it in accordance with the contract documents. You may want to, of course, you want to be sure that you're getting the best price, because if you just go to one contractor, he tells you $50, you don't know if $40 or $20 couldn't do it. So that is why you engage the tendering process. And you also further engage somebody who is competent to look at the contractor's price and see whether it's adequate, see if negotiations are necessary, and to help conduct those negotiations.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you agree on a price, the contractor agrees, and there's also agreement on the time for delivery of that project. There's also provision for what happens if that project is not delivered on time, and how you go about executing those conditions.
Even cleaning up after the project is finished.
Cleaning up is, and it's not only after the project is finished, you should be cleaning up during and upon completion.
Okay.
For instance, you may want to go and look and see what's happening on the project. You don't want, as soon as you enter with your pretty shoes, that you step on a nail with the point up. So all of that has to
So having a full contract, it makes the contractor more responsible for delivering a complete building.
It passes the responsibility onto him. I don't know if it makes him more responsible, but it passes the responsibility onto him.
Okay. I think the why I'm asking a little bit more about that, because I know for a lot of the diaspora or people who are in the diaspora and trusting family and friends send money, and they, when they come down, they are so disappointed in what has been done on their behalf, on lack of, so that's why reason I am asking all of these kind of questions, so people can understand it is important to engage your profession, your service, because it makes things easier for.
I prefer to see the services of a quantity surveyor.
Yeah,
or somebody with that competence.
Quantity surveyor, yes, yeah.
I think in the situation of persons engaging family members, you could have a family member look at it for you, but not being directly involved if he or she is not competent or qualified to do that.
Okay. Cost of labor, basic laborers. What is in Dominica? What is our basic cost for a laborer?
I think laborers across the board, whether it be in the building industry or otherwise, in our market, get paid somewhere between $40 and $60 a day.
And skilled laborers.
And skilled men, skilled workmen, well, you go to semi-skilled and skilled. The semi-skilled, I think, would probably go to 50 to about 75, and skilled from about 75 to whatever they demand.
Okay, because I've heard people say that labor is expensive. Labor cost is expensive here in Dominica. What would you say?
Well, the labor cost in getting something done, that is the total cost, as opposed to the rate you pay one laborer, may be high, and there are reasons for that. And the main reason, I think, is the fact that we lack Because when you talk about the labor cost in terms of the total cost of labor for a project, that involves ordinary laborers, that's unskilled workers, semi-skilled, skilled, tradesmen, and also the professionals. Now, if you have persons whom you're paying whatever it is a day, but you're not getting productivity, then you're taking 2-3 days to do what you should have done in half a day, but you're paying for 3 days. So of course the cost is high, but you're not getting the work output for that. So productivity is one of the things that we have to look at. Also, I think one of the things we suffer from is we hear about brain drain. It goes beyond university graduates, because people in all spheres of life are looking for better circumstances. Because we talked about what you pay a laborer a day. I mean, if you pay a laborer $40 a day, he still needs to eat 3 meals. He still needs to wear clothes.
Transportation.
And he needs to get to the work and get back home. Now, it means if he has to, that as his only means of employment, then he better not have a family.
Because?
Then it's just not sufficient to provide for them.
For them.
It's just not sufficient.
So you're saying that our labor cost is basic labor cost is too low? Is that what you indicate?
Well, sometimes I look at the other side of the scale. Maybe the prices of goods are too high.
Mr. James, based on the activities that you have in quantity surveying, can you give us an indication of our real estate industry, construction wise?
I don't know if I'll try to answer that this way. I was with a young man on the street on Saturday, and there was a gentleman about 1 block away preaching. So the young man asked me if today is Sunday. I said, well, the gentleman's Sabbath may not necessarily be on a Sunday, it may be Saturday. He said, no, I'm not talking about the guy preaching. I'm just look around. The city is dead. And I think that literally this describes what the situation is as far as the economy, whether it's building construction, whether it's in agriculture, or pick it.
So the deaths is that an indicator how dead the city is? What's happening in our industry? It's different.
That was
industries.
A real situation.
That was a real situation.
That was very real.
But I mean, based on the work that that may be, let's suppose that was just an incident. That was just But based on what you are hired or your service is hired for, can you indicate to us what the industry is like, and what? Forecasts ahead.
I have been in the business for a few decades, so
but you don't
we
look
have
that old.
Repeat customers, and so we keep occupied. But we certainly have the capacity and the time to do a lot more than comes to us.
Okay. What do you charge for your service, sir?
It depends on what service that you want. We have fee structure for basically most of our services. If there's anything that comes up that is not within a fee structure, then we will charge you by a unit of time.
Okay, so again, can you just break it down for me? What are some of the services that you offer?
Okay, we provide, as I mentioned, pre-contract, post-contract services. We provide estimating services. We provide valuation services. We provide project management services as well. And we advise persons if they require that on real estate purchases and sale, because sometimes persons come to us and ask questions when they want to sell a property. And on the other side, persons who want to buy would also request advice from us.
Okay. What is the cost? I've been asked that question. What is the cost per square feet for building a home in Dominica, a house?
What house? The thing
Let's
is,
say 12,000 square feet. Basic idea,
If you engage a quantity surveyor, then you have no problem, because you don't have to worry about the cost per square foot. It's going to give you a detailed cost of the building. The cost per square foot of building is going to vary depending on the specifications. It depends on the size of the building, the shape of the building, the layout of the building. For instance, you could have a building that is 1,200 square feet with 2 bedrooms, and you can have a building that is 1,200 square feet with 4 bedrooms. So the unit price for the one with more rooms is going to be higher, because you have more walls, and you might have 2-3 bathrooms. So that would push the unit price up.
Yes.
If you want to stick, to come up with a figure, by all means, it could range from anywhere from 200 to as much as 300 plus per square foot, because there's that amount of variation. in terms of
200
what
to
you do.
300
To 300 plus.
plus.
Yeah.
And that would also be bill on material, the details,
Yeah, and also the site.
the site, location.
Yes, because
Why that?
not the site as opposed to location, and I'll explain that.
Explain.
Because the site, we're talking about exactly where you're going to put the building. Now, the site may be dead flat.
Right.
It may be sloping of varying degrees. The location is, are you doing Maragata? Are you off the road? Are you in an area where there are no utilities?
Okay.
So, distinguish between the site itself and the location. Now, if you have a difficult site that is sloping, immensely, you may end up with, before you get to the floor level of the building, where you want to put your floor level, you may have columns that are about 20, 25 feet.
Wow.
So that before you get to floor level, you'll spend quite a bit of money. It does give you the opportunity to develop the lower levels later. But for you to get going, you would need to spend quite a bit of money, which would push up the rate per square foot.
Oh, okay. And people need to know, at least have an idea. At least now somebody can say, well, it's between 200 and 300 plus per square feet. At least they can have a figure to work with.
You know where
at
you
least,
are.
Yeah.
A wide band.
Yeah. Okay. Any last advice for potential homeowners?
Well, I think normally, if you're not used to having headaches and all of a sudden you have an intense headache, you go to the doctor, or you should.
You should, okay.
If you need to do anything related to building services, you should find somebody who is competent to advise you. And that goes for anything. I mean, your neighbor just quarrels with you and you go get a lawyer.
Yeah, because you need to be engaged. Don't be afraid to engage and ask questions, because it may save you down the road.
You spend the money to get the service, get good service, you get a good product.
You get a good product. Thank you so much, Mr. James. You've been listening to another edition of Real Estate Talk. I want to thank you for listening, and the staff at Q95 for working with me on this project, and I hope that you will have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. If you need my service, you can log on to my website at diamondrealtyda.com or call me at 225-2121, and I am there to serve you as your real estate agent. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you.
Castaways Development Limited,